Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, you know very well the issues related to our legacy wells up north, particularly within the National Petroleum Reserve. We provided significant resources to the department to address these. Last year, $22 million. But what we're hearing is the concern, and I know it's been raised with you, that these wells are not being plugged to the appropriate standards. In March, there were releases that came from previously plugged legacy wells. You know, once they're plugged, they shouldn't be a problem. But what we're facing is the standards that are used by the state government in Alaska are more stringent, and they result in better remediation outcomes. I don't know if this is a staffing issue at BLM. If so, we can work to address that. But I need you to commit to me to have BLM review the remediation and plugging standards that are used by the state of Alaska to see what improvements can be made to BLM's own standards. And I'd hope that after you get such a review, we can sit down and work through this.
Absolutely. We're happy to work with you on all of that, Senator.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then what I would ask again is if you can do this review, and if in 3 months we'll follow up for a meeting to go over that, I'd appreciate that.
Yes, of course.
On the fires, I mentioned what we're seeing up in the state right now, 512 fires this year, covering 2.8 million acres of land. Interior received $1.5 billion in the infrastructure bill for wildfire mitigation and preparedness. I think it goes without saying, but we certainly need funding to conduct the hazardous fuels reduction. Can you tell me how much of the infrastructure money has been distributed and how soon you expect to see that funding get out the door?
Thank you so much. The bipartisan infrastructure law provided over $1.4 billion for Interior's fire programs over a 5-year period. Wildland Fire Management Program allocated $407 million in 2022. The Interior and U.S. Forest Service recently announced $120 million will be paid out as a supplemental salary payments to wildland firefighters. That was so we could raise everyone's pay to $15 an hour. Some programs will take longer to implement fully because of upfront planning and other requirements. And
can I stop you on that?
Yes.
Because when I asked a similar question in the Energy Committee recently to Chief Moore, he said you need to have a plan. This is an issue where, again, I think the states have plenty of plans that are out there, and so I'm not sure where the issue is in getting these resources directed out to the states. So I'm trying to follow this through with Forest Service. So if there's still some delay, if we're waiting for plans, in the meantime, places are on fire. Yeah. So can you help me in understanding what more we can be doing to get these funds out the door?
I mean, I'm happy to go back to, as you know, we work with the Forest Service quite a bit with respect to wildland fire. I'm happy to have someone follow up with your staff on this issue and make sure that everything is in place and willing to do whatever we can to make sure it happens.
I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. I mentioned the 5-year plan and Cook Inlet, and I think there was a lot of concern in May when the department canceled Lease Sale 258, citing lack of industry interest. And I can say with real certainty that was not the case. But in the environmental analysis, the department's experts stated that if no lease sale occurred, the price for gas would increase, as would emissions due to use of alternative fuels. So, I mean, the problem that we're facing here is in Alaska, we're already paying some of the highest gas prices in the country. And so it was just kind of stunning to people to actually read the department's own words that canceling this sale would actually canceling the sale would increase the emissions, increase the costs. So can you tell me why this particular sale was canceled? What consultations were done with industry that led to this claim about lack of industry interest? Because the folks that are coming to me are saying, we absolutely are interested, we're interested. Now there's no opportunity because it's been taken off the table.
Thank you, Ranking Member. It was the fact that actual oil companies did not show interest in Cook Inlet. I recognize that the Oil and Gas Association did show interest, but for us to move that forward, we would have had to have interest from the actual companies who would be bidding on the leases. And
right, but if there has been nothing that has laid down, they can't indicate what their interest is. It's kind of a chicken and egg or horse before the cart. I mean, but what happened was there was no ability, no opportunity to even show an interest because the sale was entirely canceled.
Well, I appreciate your perspective on this, and I'm not sure what to say other than what I have already said. In any other lease sales, we have actual companies showing the interest. The industries, they put forward, ideas for those opportunities, and we didn't get that with respect
Secretary, my time has expired. I will just share that what we face is that 80% of the natural gas that comes to the most populated portion of the state comes out of that Cook Inlet. And there is a real concern that now that this is taken off the table, what comes next? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Heinrich.